Having analyzed each of Jesus' final statements individually, reflect on how the messages of work together to create a prayer. Just as Jesus was a model for us in life, so was he in death, teaching us how to pray through our darkest hours and reminding us that God is always listening. Fortified by the knowledge of God's unfailing mercy, we have the strength we need to go forward as God's Easter people. Even though the powers of darkness seem triumphant, Jesus dies confidently and trusting his Spirit into the hands of his Father. The power of darkness has been defeated by Jesus' trust in his Father. Jesus was fully committed to God's will and remained faithful to the end. Jesus' exodus was completed and he would return to God to lavish on the world the spirit of forgiveness and salvation. We can never forget that it was not the knowledge of Christ that saves us. It was his perfect submission and obedience. He became obedient, wherefore God has exalted him and gave him a name which is above all names. This obedience demanded hardship, but the willing endurance of this hardship brought peace. And it is the same road that we must follow if we want the same peace. As long as we live in this world, the more we come to realize that there are but two realities in life: man himself and the God who made him. If we resist the workings of God, if we refuse to conform our thinking with his, we will never be at peace ourselves and with others. Have you put your life, and indeed your life beyond this life, in God's hands? How did you experience God's salvation through Christ in your life today? God is hanging on a tree, and the broken body of a young man, arms outstretched to embrace us, and gently asking us to climb up onto the cross with him and look at the world from an entirely new perspective. From the cross, Jesus is a revolutionary of kindness, tenderness, compassion, consolation, forgiveness, and care for others. From the cross, Jesus breaks down the obstacles between people and creates this new family by the power that flows from his death, from humility. We may learn from the words, phrases, and example of Jesus crucified that he is our bridge to the heart of God.